Danny Flexon here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Ben Davison, top trainer here at the Ben Davison Performance Centre. What's it like having a gym named after you?
Well, originally it wasn't, but then we changed it, so now it is. Firstly, I didn't want to name it after myself, but then I thought, what else can I call it? So I've run out of ideas.
You got a big fight coming up. We've just seen Leigh Wood put through his paces in the build-up to a dangerous defence. Certainly on paper, you might not feel the same.
No, for sure, dangerous defence. Highly regarded Lara. Got the win over Josh Warrington the first time round, who at the time was deemed as probably the #1 featherweight at the time, Josh Warrington. And you know he's named the boogeyman, so yeah, obviously of course it is a dangerous defence.
Tell us about the different challenge this poses compared to say Mick Conlan, who's more of a boxer, fleet of foot, whereas Lara's more of a seek and destroy box fighter.
Yeah, styles make fights, and with Mick Conlan, he's a very good fighter. He's very versatile, so he's very good up close, very versatile at distance, can box orthodox, can box southpaw. A lot more layered than somebody like Lara. Lara is dangerous but reckless, and that recklessness will be his undoing, in my opinion.
How have you prepared differently for this one, either in view of the change of styles or just how Leigh's developing generally?
Yeah, the thing is with Leigh is where he's so coachable, he's able to make adjustments. So he's gone about each fight in a different way, really, that he's worked under us. So you know, we've set a game plan out here, and you know, I'm confident of an early stoppage for Leigh if he goes about it the right way.
Now in the workout just now, we saw you do some pads and the body shield. We saw Barry Smith doing some as well. Just generally, not just with Leigh, how do you guys split what you do? Like, what do you do? What's your responsibility, and what's Barry's?
We'll mix it up. Barry's got a few of his own fighters, but Barry will help us out sometimes, especially in the circuits and things like that. That we'll do, and then obviously Lee Wiley as well does a lot of the coaching with us. Sometimes Lee will do some coaching from the outside, I'll do some of the pad work. Sometimes it'll just be a session focused on shadowboxing and talking about scenarios, and then on days where you know, it'll be more fitness based, or Barry help put them through their paces on the days that we need to. But Barry's got some of his own fighters as well, so sometimes he's busy with those.
How much of a benefit is it to have a Leigh Wood and previously Billy Joe Saunders, Josh Taylor, that kind of world level fighter in the gym for some of the younger kids coming through?
Yeah, I think as well, it's for me, it's the attitude and the application and those sorts of things that they can rub off, or the fighters coming up can absorb from them. Of course, there's some fighters that get to world level that, you know, probably not ideal role models for fighters coming through, but we're fortunate enough, and I've always said that I'm extremely lucky to have a Leigh Wood in the gym.
Now, talking of Josh Taylor, obviously I'm sure you expect to be asked this not just by me, but what happened between the two of you? Why is he no longer training here?
No, nothing really. Obviously there's a few different reasons, but again, you know, I really get on with Josh, and I've got a lot of respect for Josh, and me and Josh got a great relationship, so you know, there was no fallout. I think that, you know, it's a long distance from home, a lot of travel for some of the fighters that we've got that are from up that way. A lot of the fighters that we've got are from up north or Scotland. So, you know, it's nothing that that's going to cause a fallout or anything like that. And you know, when I see Josh, sometimes we chat anyway. He still speaks to the rest of the lads as well, and we wish him nothing but the best, and we're sure he'll continue to be victorious.
And when he had that victory over Jack Catterall, we also saw Lee McGregor have a draw around the same time period. Did you feel like people kind of use those results as not results went your way, but you know what I mean, the performances as an excuse to, or a stick to beat you with a little bit? It seemed like a bit of a pile-on at the time.
Yeah, but that's the way, that's how boxing is, and not everybody's going to perform their best every single time. I think that because the results we've got, you know, Chris Congo lost the other day in a fight that could have gone either way. It was a really close fight. that's the first loss that we've had in 6.5 years. So, you know, the fact that the criticism has to come from performances that maybe are not the best, but still getting the results, that speaks volumes for itself. But somebody like Leigh McGregor, you know, will take some responsibility. Leigh will take some responsibility, and you know, he's back in and he's working and he's grafting, and the performances that have been under par, I think, you know, we're able to identify why that was, and that's the most important thing. And Leigh's boxing again March the 4th, sorry, and you know, looking to put that right almost. Although it's not against the same opponent, build back some of that momentum that he had, but at the same time, some of the best performances that those lads have had has come from them training in this gym as well. So yeah, it's, you know, like I said, if the criticism has to come from wins, I'll take it.
And as you said, 6.5 years unbeaten. When that comes to an end, as it did at the weekend, like you just mentioned, how does that make you feel? I mean, how much of a blow is it, because you've had so much success?
Yeah, I don't do it for me and for, you know, I do it for the lads. And I still am absolutely gutted for Chris Congo. Again, sometimes it can be a blessing that, you know, performances that aren't the best or a loss in this case. We're able to identify certain areas that we can improve ourselves, also with Chris, and we'll look to build on that. But like I say, I do it for the lads, so it was a big opportunity for Chris. I thought that he boxed well in big parts of the fight, and a lot of experience for you to do your first 12 rounder against someone like Eko Esserman. He's a tough ask as well. So he would have gained a hell of a lot of experience from that 12 rounds as well.
Now, I mentioned Billy Joe Saunders earlier. I last spoke to Barry. He said the comeback was on. Mm-hmm. Is it still on?
Yeah, it will be. I think that, you know, it's finding the right path for him to take in his comeback. You know, being realistic. I think the fight that everybody made sense for Billy Joe in the comeback was the Chris Eubank fight. So what happened a couple of weeks ago wasn't ideal for him. So I think there'll be a little bit of reassessing. But, you know, look, whether Billy Joe does, whether Billy Joe doesn't, that's entirely up to him. And I support him either way, no matter what he does.
Do you think he needed that Eubank Jr. fight as a carrot or as an incentive to get him to train and to work his way back?
Fight of that stature? Yeah, I couldn't answer that if I'm honest. I think, first of all, personally, I think this, and not that I know this for sure, is that I think that, you know, time away from boxing, he realised, you know what, I do like boxing, I love boxing, and missing a bit of structure and routine in his life. So if it means that he's in the gym and training and doesn't actually box, you know, I haven't got a problem with that, because he's another person to share experience with all the top prospects that we've got in the gym. So whatever he decides to do, we'll be supporting him.
We saw on social media last week an exchange between himself and boxer promoter Ben Shalom. Do you think that him putting that out there is a symptom of what you just talked about, like not having that structure, not having that focus?
I don't know. I can't really comment on that. I don't know what the dealings or the conversations or what took place there. I don't know if something else has been said that's led to Billy Joe doing that, or, you know. So I can't really say what the situation is there.
I really wanted to get your take also on Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. That fight's finally been announced. They had a, you know, set piece kind of press conference type thing in the ring on Saturday night. What do you make of that and the whole scene in general, I guess, of, you know, people converting to boxing, if you like? Yeah,
I mean, look, I understand some people don't like it, but I think that that's a big fight, a good fight. One thing you've got to say is different. I wouldn't call that YouTube boxing. Jake Paul has, and I know Tommy has, that's why I'm saying Jake Paul first, because we know that Tommy has, but Jake Paul, he's come from that YouTube background. He's committed himself in a way that a lot of professionals don't. He's probably more dedicated than a lot of professionals out there. That's the reality of it, that's the truth, that's my opinion anyway. So I wouldn't call that a YouTube fight. I think that it's a big fight. I was just having a conversation there with Mike Costello, and I was saying that the only thing that would bother me is if they didn't have professional fighters on the undercard. If it was to be a YouTube-based undercard, that would be disappointing, because it's going to be a big platform and a big opportunity for some of these top prospects. But I think that, you know, I'm confident they will have professionals on the undercard, and create a big platform for some of the prospects coming through as well.
Would you be open to bringing a YouTuber into the gym and mixing with some of your top class pros?
No, not really. I think that it's a different environment, isn't it? There's certain standards that have got to be met, that you try to set.
You just think we see like El Brook training at Mark Tibbs' gym, I'm assuming Jake Paul trains in pro gyms.
Again, talking about Jake Paul, I wouldn't call Jake Paul a YouTuber boxer. I think he's more committed. I wouldn't have a problem with somebody like that who's committed in that way. Not a problem. Like I said, I think that he's more committed than some of the professionals out there. I can't comment on other people. I don't know what, I'm sure that other coaches that are working with these people will have their own standards and own expectations from that person to show a certain level of commitment, and I'm sure that they are doing so. So, yeah, that's the main thing, is setting certain standards and making sure that these people stick to that. And I've worked with fighters that probably aren't as talented as some of the other fighters that I've worked with before, but they do the right things, committed, dedicated, and I always want to work with people like that.
And just finally, Tyson Fury, Usyk, we're hoping gets announced soon, although Tyson's also talked about a fight with ex-UFC star Francis Ngannou. When you guys were together, and I'm sure you still speak as well, has he ever spoken to you about an Ngannou fight? No, it's like still friendly, still in touch. But I mean, I don't know if you want to reveal something right now. But no, has he ever spoken to you about wanting to fight Ngannou specifically, or a UFC fight or anything like that?
No, he's never mentioned anything like that, not to me.
Would you like to see him fight Usyk, presumably, like most people?
Yeah, I want to see him fight Usyk, yeah.
How does it go? Not just who wins, but what's the pattern of the fight?
Yeah, I think that if Tyson stands off and tries to maintain a bit of distance and almost outbox him, so to speak, I think that the agility of Usyk and the lead handwork from Usyk would be difficult. The size disadvantage would become an advantage because of the agility, and he probably is a little bit quicker than Tyson. Tyson's got phenomenal timing. I think that he would look to work Tyson up and down and could potentially push Tyson back like that, whereas I think that if Tyson gloved up, stepped to Usyk, and Usyk's very good in the clinch for a man of that size, but a man of Tyson's size who's also good in the clinch, to be on top of you, it would take his toll. Tyson knows how to cut the ring off as well. And I think that eventually he would break Usyk down if he went about it in that manner. That's my personal opinion.
And in your view, is there any heavyweight out there currently that you could see troubling Tyson either now or in the next couple of years?
The thing is with Tyson is, I can see people troubling him, but he's so versatile, he's able to switch it up and make adjustments while in the ring. We've seen him not in trouble, but having sticky moments before in fights. But he's able to make the adjustments because he's so versatile that allows him to get the results, and that's why he's unbeaten.
Brilliant, Ben. Really appreciate your time.
No problem, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.